is Ariel, and tonight I will be talking about Venus moving through the sign of Capricorn. This is going to be a very long stay for Venus because it will include a Venus retrograde into this transit. That's why it will be there so long. It has already started very late or very early, the evening of November 5th, 2021, or very early November 5th, 6th, it's already transited into that sign. And I think that it's very interesting that this particular Venus transit has also, basically come into being right on the heels of the new moon in Scorpio. Scorpio and Capricorn to me are both the heaviest of the zodiac signs. They're very serious, they're very intense, they're very deep. They're very focused, I would say. Both of them as well have a lot of hidden passion. They have a lot of hidden intensity that doesn't always show right away, especially when you first meet them. Capricorn and Scorpio create what is called a sextile aspect in astrology. This is a very, mutually beneficial aspect. Sextiles are similar to trines in the way that they are free-flowing, they're harmonious, but a sextile is more about creating doors of opportunity opening, whereas a trine is something that just is automatically granted. With a sextile, there's good opportunities, but you have to work for them just a little bit in order for it to make its best manifestation. So it's a very interesting thing that with this, new moon in Scorpio, Venus in Capricorn, we have transited out of, these very, the signs that are masculine, that are air and fire, and we've gone to earth and water, okay? So not only do we have Venus moving into Capricorn here, but we also have, quite a lot going on in our other planets. Like I said, this Venus in Capricorn coincided right on the heels of the new moon in Scorpio. And so we went from, Venus in Sagittarius, the moon in Sagittarius, and they flipped over to these very, very intense signs, right? Sorry, not in Sagittarius, but Libra, right? We went from Libra and Sag into Scorpio and Capricorn. The other thing that, of course, has also happened, we're right on the heels of Mercury shifting out of Libra, and it's been in Libra a long time because we did have a Mercury retrograde, so this is also a big shift. Mars had spent several months in the sign of Libra as well. It has just moved to Scorpio. Mercury is getting ready to move to Scorpio as well. So we do have a lot of things going from those lighter, more optimistic, more upbeat masculine signs, especially, Libra and Sagittarius, moving into those heavier feminine signs of Capricorn and Scorpio. Scorpio especially brings a lot of intensity. It brings a lot of depth, a lot of psychological motivation. It's really about pulling back the layers, uncovering what's hidden, getting deep into the psyche, getting deep into the secrets of the soul. We also have to look at the fact that Scorpio is a sign of destruction, transformation, and rebirth. We often get, we get away from the fact, we talk about Scorpio being very much about transformation and rebirth, but we often forget that the destruction many times comes first before those transformations and rebirths can occur. So, it's like that's why this sign can be very intense. It can be very profound. It doesn't play games with us. And if we try to play games with it, it puts us back in line very, very quickly. So getting back into this as well, we have a lot of squares going on. Look at all that Scorpio and what's coming up to be in Scorpio, and it's squaring Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn both, and Jupiter both being in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign. It's very open. It's very, a straight shooter. It doesn't hide anything, but Scorpio hides quite a bit, right? And so that's why those two signs create a square, right? It's that 90-degree angle that is the most challenging aspect of astrology. And that's why we're going to feel a lot of pressure at this time, a lot of frustration, a lot of back and forth. There could be that feeling like there's just this tension, this friction building up. Some people might really feel that crisis point or a breaking point sort of emerging here. And that is very normal to feel that. For those of you who do feel that, don't feel strange, don't feel out of it. If anything, you're even more in tune with it if you can feel it happening. So those are some of the things that are going on. But I will tell you, this is going to be a long transit of Venus in the sign of Capricorn. We have Venus right here at 0 degrees of Capricorn. It just started this transit, guys, and it will be with us until March the 7th of 2022. Comparing this to the normal Venus transit, which is about 3 to 3.5 weeks at a time through a sign, this is huge. This is absolutely huge, guys. When Venus spends that much time in a sign, we're going to feel it a lot more. When a planet moves through a sign in only 3 or 4 weeks, we feel it, but it's not the same as when it stays there a lot longer. Having, Venus be stationed in one sign for 1, 2, 3, 4 months is going to be massive. It's going to be massive. Not only that, but Venus will be doing a retrograde. That is why it is staying in this sign for such a long time, because during the time that it would normally transit to the next sign of Aquarius, instead, it's going to do a retrograde. That will start on December 19th, and that will end on January 1st, 28th. All right, January the 28th, sorry. So that Venus retrograde, Venus starts in Capricorn today, and then it goes retrograde in the sign of Capricorn starting December 19th, 2021, and it ends on January 28th, 2022. Then it has to go back through what it is called the shadow point, right? Because many times when we come out of any retrograde, whether it's, Mercury, Venus, etc., you'll always have inevitably people saying, is Mercury still retrograde? Is that still going on? And the reason that they will say that is because they're still feeling the vibe. And that's because this has to get back to the same degree that it was in when it went retrograde. So Capricorn Venus will be going retrograde at about 26 degrees. And then it will go, backward, 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 backward. Then it's got to go forward again. And by the time it gets to its shadow point, back to the same degree that it was in when it went retrograde, it'll actually be almost ready to go to its next sign. It will be March 2nd by the time Venus is completely out of that shadow point of Capricorn. So just be in tune with this. The people that are going to have the hardest times or the easiest times very much has to do not only with your sun sign, your Venus placement, of course your whole chart is involved in that, but a big part of this, sorry guys, I'm still coughing a little, sniffling a little. I'm still getting over the last bits of a cold here. So I apologize. I'm probably going to cough some through this talk. But the people that are going to have, this definitely has to do with your whole chart. Absolutely, the way that you're going to feel this. But in the, the people that will have the toughest time with Venus and Capricorn, yes, are going to be Aries and Libra. I would also put Aquarius in as part of that, because that means Venus will be hitting their universal 12th house of Pisces, and that usually does bring a lot of sensitivity, a lot of emotion, and a lot of cleansing and clearing out, okay? And that's really important, but it's not easy. So, yeah, Aries and Libra will have the toughest time with Venus and Capricorn, and it is because they are a square to that sign. It's going to put the most pressure on your personal relationships, on your social life, the kind of people you associate with. It absolutely does. If you have points or planets in Libra or Aries, you're going to feel pressure in those areas. And you're going to have to do a lot of reworking, Signs that will have, a more tense time, but not a horrible time, will be signs like Cancer. Cancer is the opposition to Capricorn. And so it is going to put some pressure on you, and it's going to be like a push and pull energy, a little bit of a tug of war. You may really be back and forth in your relationships and your dynamics because of that opposition energy. The people that are going to have the easiest time with Venus and Capricorn are going to be most water signs. That would be Pisces, Scorpio, and it would also be our fellow earth signs, Taurus and Virgo. They are going to get the most out of this, the most benefit. The energy is going to be the easiest for them to work with, even through the retrograde. And of course, our hot seat sign, Capricorn, that's who's going to be most directly impacted by this transit. That's who's going to feel it absolutely the most profoundly. And I think in some ways this can be good, and in some ways it can be bad, right? It's like, I'm a Capricorn. I have 4 planets in Capricorn. This is going to be all over my Capricorn stuff. It's absolutely going to be felt. And in some ways there's pros, and in some ways there's cons. It is always the way it is with any astrological aspect. Even if it looks like it's going to be more challenging, you're also going to get benefits from it as well. So even for my Aries and my Libras out there, hang in there, because it's not all bad, right? It's not all challenge. Sometimes having those square aspects can be so positive because it brings up movement, it brings up fire and sparks and motivation. So that is very important. But on the whole, for all of our signs, for anyone, no matter who you may be, this is going to be a huge time of learning the lessons of Capricorn when it comes to our personal relationships. And so what are the lessons of Capricorn, guys? Patience. That's why I put that keyword of patience. That is number 1 on there. Capricorn is all about patience. It is about durability. It's about investing time. It's about slowly building things over time, right? So let me tell you, if you're trying to rush someone, or if they're trying to rush you, it is not going to work. They might as well be pushing against a massive boulder or just beating their heads against a wall, because it's not going to help. If anything, it's going to hurt, right? So anybody out there that thinks they're going to push their partner faster than they want to go, or push a relationship faster than it's meant to go, is going to meet with a lot of disappointment, frustration, and they might even lose the relationship. Because if you push someone during this, it's not going to turn out in your favor. It's just simply not. Venus in Capricorn is dedicated. It's slow moving. It doesn't see moving slowly as a bad thing. It's like one piece at a time. There's a method to the madness with Capricorn, absolutely. It doesn't like to be rushed. It doesn't like to be pushed. It definitely is about putting the work in. Yes, you have to let things unfold the way they're meant to unfold. If you try to push things faster than they're meant to go, it's going to backfire on you in really big ways. The time that it's going to be the most imperative to, really keep that in mind is during the retrograde. Venus retrogrades can be very challenging. My old teacher Lynn used to say that a Venus retrograde behaves like Mars. People forget their manners. They are less courteous, less polite, less kind, less, focused on the social niceties, So they're going to cut you off in traffic. They're going to be jerks. They're going to forget to say please and thank you. It's that kind of feeling. And so that is where, we really start to kind of review. It's like, with a Venus retrograde, the shine is really off of the apple. Like the honeymoon phase is over when Venus is in retrograde, and we really see our partner, no matter what stage of the relationship we're in, we see our partner unvarnished, all the ugly parts, all the dark stuff, all the things that, we might try to keep hidden about ourselves. That's what all comes out during a Venus retrograde. It's like we just kind of lose that sort of, the beautiful veneer that Venus puts on us. And so that's probably the most challenging thing about this. I would also say that anytime Saturn influence comes into contact with Venus, and of course Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, it really does bring up whether or not a relationship can stand the test of time. So this could also be a huge review for many people. And not even necessarily that you're even, you know, most people won't know this. Most people won't know that the astrology is going on, but they might be kind of going, you know, I've really got to think about this relationship. Does it have what it takes to stand the test of time? Is it durable? Is it long lasting? Is it something that I can invest in? That's very Capricorn energy. Is it worth the work? Is it worth the effort? Is it worth all of this, you know, intensity and passion and dedication that I'm going to put into it or have put into it? That's really what it comes down to. Venus in Capricorn isn't always the most romantic. It isn't. It just isn't. It's like, it's all about just the facts. What am I really looking at? What's practical? What's logical? How can I make this relationship work? And if you want to make it work, you're going to have to put in the work and the effort and the timing. You're going to have to go to counseling. You're going to have to learn to communicate better. You're going to have to make, you know, the effort. Simple as that. Capricorn energy, Saturn energy. If you work with it, it'll work with you. But if you don't work with it and you don't put in the effort, it's going to go away because it just says you are not really serious about this. So it's going to be taken away from you. If you happen to have your Venus sign in Capricorn, I'm going to read the passage from one of my favorite books, The Only Way to Learn Astrology, by Marian March and Joe McEvers. And this is for folks who have Venus in the sign of Capricorn. But it gives us a lot of information about how this plays out. So Venus in Capricorn's keyword is dedicated. So even though Capricorn Venus placement may not be the most romantic, it absolutely is the most dedicated. These are people that really, once they commit, they commit. These are people that may only fall in love once their whole life, and that's that. Like, if it doesn't work out, they don't want anything else. I've seen it a million times. Well, maybe not a million, but quite a few. So Venus in Capricorn, you are basically insecure, and in order to compensate for the sense of inadequacy, you may seek status and material goods. Seemingly cold and calculating in your approach to marriage or relationships, you try to protect yourself since you fear rejection. It is very difficult for you to show the tenderness you really feel. Proud and reserved in your public behavior, you may appear snobbish, yet you are successful. You often repress your emotions or sexuality, but deep inside you are very sensitive and passionate. Slow to develop romantic relationships, you may either choose an older or more mature partner or someone much younger for whom you feel responsible. Once someone manages to pierce your great shield of reserve, you are loyal and dedicated. With your leadership potential, you could do well in business. With challenging aspects, you may be too concerned with material achievements and emotionally detached and cold. So this is sort of the balance right here, guys. So that's for if you're born with Venus in Capricorn, you may resonate with some of that. I would definitely say as a Capricorn, see, my Venus is in Pisces. That's my Achilles heel. I always say that. I got all those planets in Capricorn. They're all tough. But boy, my Achilles heel is my Pisces Venus, right? But a Venus in Capricorn is a different story, right? And I would say I always joke that Capricorn is like a crunchy chocolate shell with a soft, gooey caramel center. They're very soft inside. They're very sensitive inside. They get hurt deep. That's why they're similar to Scorpios, right? You know, Scorpio is similar. They can be very secretive and very, you know, mysterious and aloof. But once you really get to know them, oh boy, you know, it's gooey, squishy, romantic, all of that. So Capricorns, you know, they have a little bit of that same quality. They are very tough on the exterior, but very soft on the center. So this is going to be a very important, but not always the easiest kind of transit for everyone. You know, it's definitely going to bring a lot of elements to the surface when it comes to love, not just romantic relationships, but also our friendships, our social interactions, the way we spend money. People might get a lot tighter with their finances, a lot tighter with their pocketbook during Venus and Capricorn. That's something a lot of astrologers don't mention, fail to mention, is that Venus has a lot to do with the way we spend money, has a lot to do with the attitude we have towards our finances, whether we spend them easily or not. And when Venus is in Capricorn, we tend to be kind of stoic. Because Venus is pleasure, right? It's our pleasures, it's our luxuries, right? And Capricorn says, you know what? I can do without that. I don't need that fancy perfume or that pretty candle today. I'll be fine. As long as I have food in the refrigerator, I'm good. And that's really, you know, that a Venus and Capricorn person tends to only spend on necessities. And they feel often very guilty if they buy something luxurious or indulgent for themselves. That's the thing I mentioned many times with Capricorn, is they can tend to really hold back too much from indulging themselves. They can be very, very they can deny themselves pleasure or joy or fun. And so, it's really one of those big lessons that Capricorn has to learn, is to sometimes be good to themselves as well as others, because they do work hard for others. They do give to others, but they are very, they can be so, stoic with themselves. I guess I am glad I have Venus and Pisces, because I will treat myself. I will take care of myself, because Venus and Pisces is a more indulgent placement for Venus, right? If my Venus was in Capricorn, it would be a different story. But yeah, Venus does have a lot to do with our spending style and the way that we give, indulgence or luxury to ourselves. It really does. So that's what's going to be coming up with this, guys. Those are the timelines that we're going to be looking at. If I was going to go just, sign by sign, like I said, Aries is going to have the most challenge here. And I think that a big part of their challenge is going to be in that 10th house, actually, because the 10th house is ruled straight in their, universal chart. So I think for Aries, the challenge for Venus and Capricorn is finding love and work that you love, right? Finding, working at what you love and loving what you work at. That's the big challenge for Aries when it comes to Venus in Capricorn. For Taurus, it's a lot easier. Taurus is a fellow earth sign. Your ruling planet is Venus. So the only thing that might be challenging for Taurus is because Venus in Capricorn, like I said, it tends to deny itself pleasure. Taurus, you don't like to deny yourself pleasure. So I would say that would be overall a very positive alignment, because it's earth and earth. And it may really trigger your travel urge, your desire to learn. It's going to be traveling through that universal 9th house for you, Taurus. But overall, it's a good alignment. It's not a bad thing. And if anything, it may teach you some important lessons about what you spend and what you save, because Venus in Capricorn will help you, especially if you're in a place where you really need to say, I got a budget. I've got to be careful about how much I spend right now. It'll help you bring that back into balance. So not a bad thing. Gemini, Venus will be moving through the universal 8th house for you during this Venus in Capricorn energy. So I would say it could be a little more challenging, a little more tricky, because Venus in Capricorn is going to be very serious. It's going to be more heavy. It's a slower moving energy. You may want to push and move faster than you really can. It's not going to let you. And I will also say that because Venus will be moving through that universal Scorpio house during that transit for you, Gemini, you're going to feel it in a big way, deep, psychologically. Anything in your personal relationships that really needs to be reworked, it's got to go deep to the heart. It cannot be surface or shallow level. You might have to do some counseling. You might have to do some real therapy and really dig in deep. So that's what I would say for Geminis about Venus and Capricorn. For Cancer, this is going to be the major balancing act in your relationship life and love life, because Capricorn is your opposing sign. Both of these signs have, of course, a lot in common, but they also have a lot of differences. That's always the truth with oppositions. So for Cancers, Capricorn energy is going to be highlighting your universal relationship house. It is a very important transit that's going to bring a lot of stability and reworking of foundations to your relationship life. The key with all of this for any sign is that you've got to be patient through this. Don't push, don't rush, don't beat up on yourself or others through it. It's very important. And that's very much the same with you, Cancer. Don't rush other people, don't push them. It's going to be okay, but this is a balancing act, and you might really be assessing how, solid or how long lasting or committed your relationships are throughout that 4-month transit. Next, for Leo. For Leos, that's going to put Venus in your universal 6th house of Virgo. So you will absolutely, through this transit of Venus and Capricorn, be looking at what's most healthy for you. What's healthy in your relationships? Are your relationships bringing you good things? Are they lifting you up? Or are they draining you and making you sick? That is a huge thing. You might really also be looking at the patterns, the cycles, and the behaviors that go along with your love life and with your relationship life in order to balance it better. Capricorn is an interesting sign to Leo as well, because it does represent that 8th house of mystery, right? It really, really does, guys. And so I would say that you're going to be feeling that on a very, very strong level. Very strong level. Then getting into Virgo. Virgo, this is going to be a good placement for you, a great transit for you, because Capricorn energy is a fellow earth sign. You're going to feel good with it. It's not going to be that tough for you. It's actually going to feel really nice, I think. You're probably one of the signs that's going to get the best benefit from this. You really will. It's going to highlight and accent your 5th house universally. It's your Leo house. It's going to make you feel more creative, more bright, more optimistic, more vibrant. You thrive under that kind of energy of bringing things back into order, reorganizing them. It's funny how that works, but I feel like for Virgo, you actually are one of the signs, if not the sign, that's going to get the best of this. Seriously. That's funny to think about. But yes, Virgo, even more than Taurus, even though Taurus is Earth, Taurus likes to indulge more than Virgo does. Virgo doesn't mind tightening the budget up a little bit, or tightening the purse strings up a little bit. So they don't have as hard of a time with it. The things that you purchase during Venus and Capricorn are generally going to be practical, something long-lasting, something that's a worthy investment, right? And it's going to give you a lot of optimism. It's going to make you feel just brighter, because it's going to be highlighting that universal Leo energy, and it's solar, it's bright, it's happier, it's more upbeat. So I really like the way that one feels. Libra, yes, you and Aries are the folks that are going to have the most intensity, the most challenge from this 4-month Venus and Capricorn transit. For Libra, this is going to be moving across your universal 4th house, and that is the Cancer house, one of the signs that squares you. So Libra, the way that I see this, feel this, the biggest stuff that you're going to be reworking is within that home center. For some of you, this could surround, especially your family relationships and dynamics, people that you literally physically live with. It could bring up, for some of you, elements of real estate, land ownership or transference, legal matters regarding those things. It could bring up all of that to the surface. So Libra, get ready. That is one of the more challenging positions. It is a 4-month transit. I'm sorry it's going to last so long, because we do have a Venus retrograde. You're certainly going to feel it. Just like Taurus, you are ruled by Venus. You feel the, movements of that planet more than most, and it does have a stronger impact for you. I would say, though, that this is a very important time. I would say that it's an excellent time of building foundations, reevaluating where you're going in life, and really laying a firmer foundation ahead, because that is the thing that Venus and Capricorn gets us to look at. It's like, does this relationship have what it takes to keep going the distance? Does this home or this place that I live have what it takes to keep, you know, being a good supportive place for me to be? Those are all the things that are going to be reviewed and looked at. And I really feel like it will ultimately empower you in the areas of your relationships and your family dynamics, because Capricorn, if anything else, it will put its foot down when it's not happy about something. So, you know, Libra, this is going to give you a lot of power that you may not usually have, because Libra, you do tend to be very accommodating. It's always about giving someone else what they want. But with Capricorn, it's like, it's not necessarily, I wouldn't call Capricorn necessarily a selfish energy, but it is very much like, I've got to do what's right for me kind of energy. And if, and they get dug in and they get kind of stubborn. It's like, I'm going to do what's right for me. You can push me, you can shove me, you can cajole me, but it's not going to matter, because I'm going to move at my pace. I'm going to move at the pace that I want to move, and it's not going to matter how much you cry, whine, beg, annoy me. So Libra, that's going to be a good thing for you to embrace, because many times you give too much. You give too much, you do too much, you accommodate too much. And this Capricorn energy is going to teach you a few lessons about putting your hoof down and just saying, You're going to learn the power of the word no during this transit. That's what things coming for my Libras. Next sign up, Scorpio. Scorpio is actually a sign that's going to benefit greatly from Venus and Capricorn. Capricorn and Scorpio create a sextile transit aspect in astrology, and so they actually create a lot of doorways that open to positive opportunities. Both of these signs can be very secretive and very cautious about how much they reveal in the beginning of a relationship, and it takes time. It takes time for it to unfold. So I really do feel, you know, especially this month ahead and over the, you know, cycle of this next 4 months, Scorpio, this is going to be a powerful time for you. I think that you're going to have a lot of good opportunities in love, a lot of opportunities to either, you know, end a relationship that's not going well and, you know, regenerate and rebirth into something a lot better. You know, no matter what your situation is, it's going to give you the ability to do what's really right for you. It does highlight your universal third house. The Gemini house is where, you know, Venus and Capricorn universally will be moving for you, Scorpio. So interestingly enough, Capricorn and Scorpio can both be signs that aren't exactly the most forthcoming when it comes to communication, but this combination for you will actually help you to open up and talk about your emotions and your plans for the future much more than you have in a while. So that's going to be a 4-month cycle where I really feel the more that you talk about your personal relationships, the more that you talk about what you really want or what you really want to build, the better it gets. The better it gets, Scorpio. So you're learning a lot of lessons of communication and positive, solid communication. You know, Scorpios are not into small talk, and neither is Capricorn. They both like meaningful dialogue, meaningful conversation. They are not, you know, they are not small talkers, not at all. And that's why many times those two signs can seem very reticent to open up, is because it's not that they don't want to talk, they just don't want to talk about BS. They don't want to talk about frivolous things. You know, Capricorn and Scorpio want to talk about real stuff with real depth and meaning. And so that's why they can turn a lot of people off, because they get very, very heavy very quickly in their conversations. They're a strong cup of tea, right? So our next two that we have not, let's see what's next. Yeah, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, when it comes to Venus and Capricorn, I would say that this may be, you know, a very important transit, especially when it comes to your money, your material possessions. And that's because Venus and Capricorn will be moving through the second house universally, the Taurus house. So it does bring up elements of resources, of money, how you spend it, where you spend it. This is also, especially in your relationships, an important time to be aware of anybody treating you like a possession. Don't let people treat you like you're just an object or a thing, and don't let yourself treat other people that way, because that combination can really lead into that sort of objectification of someone else or of you to someone else. Be very careful with that. Overall, though, this may be a time, especially if you've indulged a lot in the past, this could be a time to bring it back into balance so that you actually have, you know, some money in the bank again. Similar to, what was the other sign? There's another sign, I think it was a fire sign, Leo. Very similar to what Leo's going to be experiencing, Sagittarius, because they're also dealing with it in a, you know, in an earthy house. This could be a very important time of kind of rebalancing your budget, putting your money into what you really value and what you really want it to go into. And, you know, maybe even selling some things that you no longer need or giving away some things that you no longer need. This has to do with your material possessions, tangible objects, and your finances. Capricorn, of course, Capricorn, this is going to be a big deal for you. Venus in your own sign is good in a lot of ways, but there are certainly things that you need to watch. There's certainly things that you need to be, you know, appreciative of. Venus in your own sign definitely makes you more attractive. It makes you more charismatic, charming. It gives you an extra boost of, you know, attractiveness. People will probably want to talk to you, hang out with you more, be more, you know, you just have a more appealing energy when Venus is in your sign because it's moving through your universal first house. So it has a lot to do with your identity and who you are during these 4 months. So Capricorns, my fellow goats, I think it's going to bring you a lot of positivity in many, many ways. It may bring you an ability to speak your mind with a very smooth and very appealing kind of way. You know, it's like you're going to have an easier time getting what you want because you'll know how to ask for it a whole lot better. Love, of course, is going to be very highlighted. Relationships are going to be very highlighted. And, you know, in your traditional fashion, Capricorn, you're not going to let someone push you around, and you shouldn't be pushing anyone around either. That is very important because Venus in Capricorn needs time to unfold. All Capricorn energy needs time to unfold. Slow but steady wins the race here. Absolutely. Hang in there, right? You might be kind of saying, you might be looking at a relationship, you're going to go, oh, this will never work. Don't be too quick to judge it. Capricorn, you can be very judgmental and you really can make some very quick judgment calls because you don't want to waste time on something that's not going to go anywhere. But you got to refrain from judging a situation too quickly with this situation, right? Because we are going to have a Venus retrograde. No doubt you're going to be reviewing, you're going to be really looking at your personal relationships, and of course, your relationship with yourself, because Venus will be moving through that first house universally. That is your identity. That is you, yourself, and I. You will have to be looking at your own relationship with yourself because we know if we don't have a good relationship with ourselves, it can't be good with anyone else either. So you're going to have to love yourself, Capricorn. Give yourself some grace. Be kind to you because that reflects so much into how you are with other people. Yes, you are strong. Yes, you are tough, Capricorn. But, you know, you've got to realize you need love, appreciation, and respect as well, right? And if you're giving that to someone else and they're not giving it back to you, you got to reevaluate that. You got to put your little goat hoof down and you got to tell them, this is what I want. This is a definite strong time of you teaching others how you want to be treated. All right. Next would be Aquarius. Aquarius is another sign that I think is going to be more challenged throughout this transit of Venus and Capricorn. And a big reason I feel that is because it's going to be putting Venus into your universal 12th house of Pisces. It could make you feel a lot more emotional in relationship. You might find yourself really blurting things out, crying more, getting more emotional. And because you are an Aquarius, you're not really going to like that. You're not really going to like it because Aquarians, you know, really like to keep things more intellectual and more logical and a little bit emotionally detached. The Venus being plunged into that, you know, Pisces house in your universal chart, woo! You're going to feel it. You're going to feel this emotion overwhelming you. And I think that the biggest things that I would say for you, Aquarius, you know, is Capricorn is a sign that's very near and dear to you because, you know, in the old days, both of you were traditionally ruled by Saturn. So there's a lot of things that you feel very connected with for Capricorn, right? You both have that very independent, hardworking, loner kind of energy. Both of you have that. So there's going to be some sympathy that comes between those two signs. But you are being plunged into an ocean of emotion. And the biggest thing during this 4 months is not to run away from that, right? Because you could do some really negative things like drinking too much, smoking too much, you know, turning to, you know, negative coping mechanisms so that you don't feel all that intensity and that you don't feel all that emotion. So be careful of that, Aquarius. Do not give in to addictions. Don't give in to bad coping mechanisms during this. This is going to be a time where all of us are really reviewing our relationships, making sure we're laying solid foundations for those. Yet again, don't push yourself, don't push your partner too much, because if you push your partner too much, you might push them right out of your life, right? You have to take things slowly but surely. And, you know, just reminding again, this Venus cycle in Capricorn will be moving until March 7th, 2022. So you got to hang in there with it. Slow and steady wins the race. Capricorn does not build an empire overnight. And, you know, that's the way it works. If something is worth, you know, having, it's worth taking the time to have it. So yeah, hang in there with it, Aquarius. I think there's a lot of things that can be really built here. I think you're going to learn a lot of lessons, not just of patience, but also of getting more emotionally in tune. That's part of this. You know, for those my Aquarians that are often more emotionally detached, this Venus cycle moving through that universal Pisces house is going to really get you in touch with those deeper, very heartfelt, poetic, beautiful, spiritual, kind of romantic feelings and connections. So it's actually quite nice. Venus in Pisces. Well, not Venus in Pisces. Well, if your sun is in Pisces, if your Venus sign's in Pisces, anyone that has Pisces in energy. Pisces folks, Venus in Capricorn is actually a very good placement for you. Just like Scorpio, this is a sextile aspect and it brings through a lot of opportunities in love. A lot of good things can be attained, but you gotta jump for it a little bit. A sextile is good things coming through, but you can't just sit back and let it just be taken for granted. You have to do a little bit of work for it, but if you do, there's going to be great things that come through. The best things about Capricorn energy for you, Pisces, are that it gives you stability. Capricorn is beautiful, earthy, deep foundation, and Pisces, since you're water, water everywhere, you like to have a nice little earthy place to rest, right? The lake always needs the earth to sit inside. And so that water and earth combination is extremely beneficial for you. I think if you've been very confused in love, this is going to help get rid of your confusion, because it's like, which way is it going? I don't know where it is. Which end is up? Right? Capricorn is going to come along and go, hey, Pisces, I'm going to help you out with that. I'm going to help you out with that quite a bit. It's going to also give you a stronger place to come from when it comes to universal mass consciousness love, because that's going to put Venus in that universal 11th house of Aquarius for you, Pisces. That's going to be a very, very nice place. I think this is going to increase your connections with other people. This is excellent for you, especially if you have any sort of work in a, you know, place of public relations, talking to lots of people, being a teacher, somebody that communicates with large groups of people. It's going to help you a lot, Pisces, because it's going to bring more love, more dedication, and more solidity, more foundation. Things that I would, of course, watch out for, Pisces, is that this is going to be, again, I'm going to put this out there, slow but steady wins the race kind of action. There is going to be a Venus retrograde in here. During those times, a lot of times people are just not as nice. And I know Pisces likes it when people are nice, because your feelings get hurt really easily, right? Your feelings get hurt real easy, Pisces. So be aware that during the time of that retrograde between December 19th and January 28th of next year, people are just not going to be as well behaved. So you might not be wanting to be social. You might just kind of say, all right, I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to use that, you know, Venus retrograde time to do some reflection, to do some inner work. I would also say that that could go for any of our signs, for all of us, you know, during Venus in retrograde between December 19th and January 28th, those could be the times when we really turn within, right? When we really go within and we kind of do some inner work on ourselves. Very important. It's very important to keep that in mind. All right, guys, let's get into just a quick card reading for the collective. I'm just going to do that. We've given a little overview of what Venus in Capricorn means, what it's going to mean for each of our signs. So let's take a peek. Let's see what we've got in our universal energies, universal message for the collective, in our cards about this 4-month cycle of Venus in Capricorn. I personally am very excited for it. I think it's going to be very beneficial on the whole. Some of it's going to be a little tough, and some of it's not going to be as tough, right? Some of it's going to feel necessary. And I feel like for anybody that's in a relationship where you're kind of uncertain, or you're kind of like, where is this headed? It's going to be a very solid proving ground. If the relationship comes out through this cycle and it's solid and it's better than ever, and you've learned some important things about each other and you've made some adjustments and learned some lessons, then it's going to be a really great thing. If it doesn't, and they're still behaving badly, yeah, you know, it's time to let it go, because Capricorn energy always looks for things that are efficient. If it doesn't stand the Capricorn test, then it doesn't stand the test, right? It's what it's about, because Capricorn is all about building something that's forever. That's the way we are. That's the way we're built. We're not there. We're there for a long time, not for the good time. I know that sounds horrible, but it's true. Not that we're not there for the good times too, but that, you know, Capricorns are not fair weather friends. We're there through thick and thin. We're there through the good times and the bad times. We'll take the good with the bad, the sweet with the sour. We don't mind, right? We're not just there to be fly by night. We're there for good. We're there for life. And if someone else is not going to stand that test, is not going to pass the test, if they're not going to be there for you forever, Capricorn, and they're just too flighty and frivolous, then it's on. Ooh, see, look at that. I'm just flipping around these oracle cards, and the very first thing that came up is security. Capricorn is super security conscious, so it really isn't surprised that this came up as the first keyword. Yeah, this is about security, guys. This is about security in love. Security in love. Is it secure? Is it stable? Does it have a grounding center? Can I build my campfire with you? Right? Oh my goodness. That's what Capricorn wants. That's what Capricorn wants. What's a goat want? Diligence. Second card that came out. Yes. You got to look at that picture too. It's looking at the whole, getting some perspective, right? You got to look at the whole of your relationships. Are they basically healthy, sound? Do they make you feel good? Be diligent, Capricorn. Be diligent, everyone, right? And our love card. There it is. Because it is about love. It's about security, it's about diligence, and it's about love. The next card out would have been wisdom, guys. Capricorn's all about the wisdom. I'm just saying. Yeah, it is healthy versus unhealthy. It just, you know, as a Capricorn, I gotta say, you know, when I feel good in a relationship of any kind, it just gives you, it gives you a sense of peace, right? It gives you, you just know it. And nobody can tell you that. You know that feeling that you get is either a peaceful, like you don't feel nervous. You don't feel scared. You don't wonder, oh God, what are they going to do next? What are they going to, you know, you don't have that bad feeling like, oh God, I never know what's going to happen. Like you feel like you can really just, you know, have that happy, content sigh like, You know, that's when you know it's good. That's when you know everything's all right. All right, so let's get into some soul's journey, some lesson cards. I'm going to ask what kind of lessons are going to be taught with this 4-month cycle of Venus and Capricorn for us. Wow. Pride and Prejudice, anyone? Almost. Almost. Peace is coming up. What did I just say? It is about peace. Do you get a peaceful feeling in your heart about whatever relationship it is you're asking yourself about during this time? Look at that. I am a being of love, and I release all negative energies. Ooh, and that, you know, that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to release the negativity. Capricorn energy can be very pessimistic. I'm just going to put that out there. It can be. It really can be. Because Capricorn energy is very cautious. It definitely has that tendency waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's like, this is too good. What's going to go wrong here, right? So it's, oh, this is going to be an important Venus transit about letting the negativity drop. There's my joke about Pride and Prejudice. There's the Pride card, right? I love myself, and I see myself in everyone. So this is healthy self-pride, healthy self-worth is coming through here with the soul's lessons, right? You know, to love yourself, to be good for yourself, to take pride in your work and your accomplishments in a positive, healthy way. And by loving yourself and taking pride in yourself, being able to radiate that onto other people, that you see the goodness in them too. You see their accomplishments, their things that they should be proud of, right? And then look at this. Oh, the acceptance card, guys. The acceptance card. And I'm going to put that out there because, you know, Capricorn energy, Venus in Capricorn, this has a lot to do with accepting yourself and accepting others just the way they are. And, you know, Capricorns many times will fall into, put myself out here, we do this, where we think, oh yeah, this person's a total mess, but all I got to do is fix them up and work on them a little bit and they'll be fine. You can't do that. You have to accept people where they are, how they are. If they want to improve, it's their choice, right? So I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. That's that serenity prayer, right? Accepting the things you cannot change, you know, changing the things that you have the ability to and the wisdom to know the difference, right? Whew. Yeah, we knew these were gonna be. All right, let's get into some tarot. Let's get into some tarot. All right, Spirit, let's see what we have. Dear Spirit, dear angels, ancestors, please show us as the collective what we're going to be looking at energetically throughout this transit of Venus in Capricorn, please. This transit and retrograde, it's going to last about 4 months. What should we be paying attention to, and especially our love and our social connections? What are the lessons we're meant to learn from this? How is this meant to play out for us so that we, whew, that one just flipped right out. It was a Chariot. To me, that's wisdom and victory in our personal emotions and our subconscious dynamics. It's a balance too, because that's Cancer. Cancer is the flip side of Capricorn. So we're really meant to be doing some big balancing here. Learning a lot about our subconscious emotions so that we can move forward with victory and success. I'm feeling it. All right. I do feel some, for some people, there's a little vibration of some new beginnings. I really do feel there's a vibe of some new beginnings in here. Yeah, you can't do things in the same old way that they've always been done. There's some restructuring that's going to be important here. Right at the center, key card is the Two of Wands. Aries energy, for one thing. Some Aries. You know, this is taking the next step. It's bold choices. Sometimes it's partnering with someone else who shares your vision And sometimes it's doing it just on your own. But again, to me, it's new doors opening. It's considering where you want to go next. You making some plans here. Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, for some people, it could literally be like, do I want to travel? Do I not? Do I want to move forward with this person? Do I not? Wow, because of that Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter energy. For a lot of us, you know, the big highlighted signs, of course, right at the center, Aries is a big one. Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, all those fixed signs, you know, and Sagittarius too, because it's Jupiter. So this, to me, right in the center, I feel like this Venus in Capricorn transit is going to be really motivating people. It's like, do I want to go forward? Do I want to partner with you? Do I want to get in deeper with you? Do I want to move to be with you? Do you want to move to be with me? For some people, it could be a really big element of travel here. It's a really big element of travel. I think more than ever, people are in long distance relationships because they're, you know, people meet each other on the internet more than ever now. And I think that that's coming up huge as a collective. It really is, you know, and it's also, you know, even if it's not a long distance relationship, this to me is something where it's all about breaking out of stagnation. It's about seeing a bigger picture. It's about being a lot more large in your vision, because it's the Wheel of Fortune. It's Jupiter. It's expansion, right? It's not just the here and now. It's not seeing things little bitty up close. In the immediate past, we've got this Ten of Swords. I really do feel that, you know, as we go into this Venus and Capricorn energy, a lot of people have either left behind some really heavy elements in their relationships, or are about to, because this Ten of Swords is all about leaving behind anything that's been painful, old betrayals, old wounds, old anxieties, stressful cycles that have finally come full circle, packing those bags and moving towards something that's so much better. It brings a lot of relief because it's a difficult cycle that's come to an end. So a lot of people are leaving behind some emotional or personal baggage as they move into this Venus and Capricorn transit. I think that's really, you know, it's like at the heart of it, you know, when we have a new Venus cycle, especially when it's going to be a really long one, there's always this sort of like letting go of something that hasn't worked out. And look at that Judgment card, right? So there's a rebirth that you're moving towards, a rebirth that we're all kind of moving towards. This is the higher vibration of the Death card. So for a lot of folks, I feel like, you know, the death and transition, those big Scorpio elements, you know, have really come full circle. And it's time to have the rebirth. It's time to wake up again. You know, after having gone through something very heavy, going into the immediate future, I do feel like there's definitely some emotional things are going to have to be worked through. I feel like the overall energy and attitude going forward is very positive, but I do feel like there's some things that really need to be worked out, right? For a lot of people, especially if you're already in a relationship or in a situation, if you've been in it long enough to have had, you know, some arguments or disagreements, right? You might be really focused on those. You might be going, I don't know. Can I continue going forward with this person? Because look at all this, you know, look at how they treat me sometimes. Look at the way they get when they're in a bad mood. But you got to work through it because you've still got this Two of Cups that's standing very strong, right? You know, it's like, yeah, but I still love them. You know, they still love me. Is there enough to build on? That's the question. Can you forgive and let go? Or is it a deal breaker? Was it a deal breaker, guys? That's what you have to ask. I would also say, because it's Capricorn energy, to look at this coming up here. Yeah, you also have to ask about that because it's not gonna resolve itself overnight. And this is a 4-month transit of Venus. Knight of Pentacles. There it is. Slow but steady wins the race. But it does have a good outcome if you put in the work. That's the Capricorn. That's the Capricorn, guys. I really feel like the success of a relationship, any relationship that you may be going through, It really is going to come down to whether the two people involved put in the work or not. If they do, has a great chance of success, excellent chance of success. If they don't put in the work, it'll probably just stay here at the River of Tears. That's, you know, that's what it is. That's what it is. You gotta work it with Capricorn energy, with Saturn energy. If you don't put in the effort, the work, it will not benefit you, because that's always the way it is. Capricorn says, you love me, prove it. Show up every day. Put in the effort, put in the time, and then I'll know. Your actions will speak louder than your words. Yeah. With Capricorn energy, talk is cheap. We're looking for actions. We're looking for dedicated, you know, action every day. We're looking at how you treat us each day. We're looking at how you treat us even when you're in a crappy mood. That's important. Crappy mood, don't matter. You'll take your crappy mood out on me. Go punch a bag or something, or hit some rocks. Don't take it out on me. On the bottom, subconscious. What's the subconscious focus here? Victory, success, clarity. Ace of Swords, right? So to me, it is about clearing through confusion, any old chaos, any old difficulty, miscommunications being sorted out. It's, you know, this is, to me, it's like you've got to talk it out. You've got to talk it out, guys. Got to talk it out. If you don't talk it out, it's not going to work it out, you know? But clear communication is important. I think that is the subconscious focus for most of our folks. Since this is a collective read, you know, we're really wanting clarity. If there's been confusion in a relationship or in a confusion in a dynamic, we want clarity, right? We want the information we're seeking. No more vague or hidden messages. No more not spelling it out. You know, it has to be very, very clear. You know, we're talking about Venus and Capricorn. And where is the ruler of Capricorn right now? It is in Aquarius, which is about clear communication. And see, look at what's on there. The Five of Cups. Five of Cups is in this reading twice. It's in the future position. It's on the subconscious position. And so what I do feel is that you've got to work this out, right? There's a lot of folks in relationship dynamics right now that are just not feeling the greatest. They're just not feeling the greatest about it. It hurts. There's something that's been disappointing, something that has let you down, right? And you're sitting there wondering, is this going to work out in the future? Are these two cups of love and connection still worth working on? Are they still worth hanging on to? Because there's been some things that have been really painful. We need to talk about this. I need clarity on this. Wow. At the top, and you know, what I love about this, you know, the message from Spirit crowning the spread is their Queen of Wands. And look at the, you know, I look at that with this pride card, because she's a Leo queen, and Leos are all about their pride. Even the colors in the cards are so much the same. Got to read that message again. I love myself, and I see myself in everyone. When you're proud of yourself, you feel happy with yourself, you're going to see that in everyone else. So I really feel like at the top of this, you know, it really is about the relationship we have with ourselves. It always is. And working on that, working on being good to ourselves, working on staying in that upbeat, positive alignment. You know, Queen of Wands is also such a master magician, kind of manifester energy. I really love her. I really love my little Leo queen. She has that magic connection. She has that strong belief in herself. She doesn't underestimate her dreams or her abilities, right? And it's also, I love this message on this particular card. It says the need to balance between career and personal life. And what could be more of a balance between career and personal life than Venus, the planet of love, in the sign of Capricorn, the planet of business and ambition and work. So it really is. There could be a little balancing act coming in for some of us too, saying, you know, we got to balance love and work, personal time and professional time. And there it is. Big time balance. big time justice. It can't be all work and no play, or all play and no work. It has to be both. And there's our little Libra. There's our Libra balance. You know, Libras are going to be balancing for sure with Venus and Capricorn. They're going to be one of the signs that has one of the more challenging times with this. They are. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we have got in our suggested approach. Whew. These are so active tonight. They keep wanting to jump out of my hands. It's like, oh. Yeah. I'm telling you, Page of Pentacles, that is the suggested approach. Work on it one day at a time. Just like that Knight of Pentacles, there's your earthy energy. This isn't going to be overnight. And it is very much about, I've got something to invest. I got something to put into this. Is it worth going to the next step? I also feel, you know, because Capricorn is such a sign of learning and teaching. It really is. Capricorn is such a teacher. It's really, we have to be willing students. We have to be willing students. We have to be, you know, willing to absorb new information, new knowledge, and act with it with more integrity, to act on what we've learned, right? And look at that. Beautiful. I mean, this is really beautiful energy with the Star card coming through. And I also like that because, of course, where's the next sign that Venus will go after it's done with its transit in Capricorn is Aquarius, and the Star is Aquarius. And so I really do feel that, you know, we've got to be willing students. We've got to learn this new information that's coming in, because it really will shape our future. It will shape our destiny, because the Star is so much about our future hopes, you know, the wishes that we have. And it's the light at the end of the tunnel. So I really feel like this is beautiful. It really kind of tells you that if you do the work, if you take it one day at a time, take the lessons to heart and act on them. When you know better, you do better. It's that kind of thing. It really does open up a beautiful future, right? And once Venus goes into Aquarius, a lot of those lessons will really be put into action. It'll open things up. It's a real liberating feeling. Like it really kind of sets you free from some of those heavier energies. Because let's face it, Capricorn is a heavy energy. It is. Let's get into a potential outcome here. Whew. Five of Swords, guys. This is really about, I think, letting go of anyone or anything that isn't for our best good. That's really it. Because the Five of Swords, to me, it's up there with the Seven of Swords. It's that kind of character. It's people that are only in it for themselves, don't mind stepping on others to get ahead, very ruthless, kind of narcissistic, right? It's that narcissist energy. And so I really feel like, you know, it's like it's saying there's a better way that's going to make you happier. Avoid people that have a lack of integrity or questionable motives. I think for a lot of people, this is what's going to come out as like the major lesson here. Wow. Yeah, look at that. Because look at that, we've got the Sun. We've got the Sun and the Star in this reading, two of the most positive cards. And so it really is. It's like you've got a choice here, folks. We've got a choice. We can either stick with people or situations that just hurt us and drain us of our good energy, or we can go towards the Sun. I like how we also got two very powerful Leo cards in this reading. We got, you know, the Queen of Wands, and we got the Sun, because this again is that positive pride in ourselves, positive, like good feelings and good affirmation about ourselves. And I really do feel like that's something that's really in the world a lot these days. There's a lot of narcissism and kind of that sociopathy going on in the collective. And I feel like a lot of us have really got to make those choices, especially spiritually, motivated people, people that are spiritually or psychically sensitive. We have a tendency to draw those kind of folks to us a little bit more. And so this could also be a really big message for, just intuitives and spiritually sensitive people, emotionally sensitive people. Is like, instead of trying to make a nasty person ever work for you, just let it go. Follow the sun. Follow, literally, I know it sounds cheesy, but follow your bliss, follow your happiness, follow the things that make you feel good at the end of the day. And you're always going to know that when you're around somebody who is, draining you of your energy and they're just using you, you're going to know it. You will feel it. After you've been around them every time, you're going to feel it. Like, and once you've been around a good friend, both of you are going to feel that, right? Both of you will feel uplifted, energized, happier, more motivated, more encouraged. Though that's what you got to pay attention. I think that's very interesting that it's such a dynamic Five of Swords with the sun. It's like, wow, pay attention to the ones that make you feel good. Also pay attention to the ones that don't make you feel good, because that is, you can't second guess that. You can't second guess that. Here on the bottom, we've got the King of Swords. And then we've also got the Nine of Pentacles. King of Swords is, again, very strong Aquarius energy in this reading. We had the Star, we had the King of Swords, and we also had the Ace of Swords. So yeah, very, very strong Aquarian energy in this. I feel like I said, Aquarius is going to have probably one of the most challenging times, because Venus in Capricorn will be moving through their universal 12th house. It's also true for people with a Capricorn rising. You're going to feel that as well. Just pay attention. Well, actually, no, Aquarius rising. That's where you're going to have, yeah, Aquarius rising or Aquarius sun signs. Yeah. I'm an Aquarius rising. Ah! I'm going to be feeling it. I totally am. Oh my gosh, guys. But yeah, Aquarians are going to be real highlighted on this. You're going to have to raise yourself to a higher place. And you're also going to have to, help raise the people in your social circles to a higher place. Nine of Pentacles, a lot of Virgo energy coming out. Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. Those are some good Virgo cards. Virgo is actually going to have one of the best times with this Venus transit of Capricorn. So I really do feel like, there's a lot of earthy fulfillment here. Absolutely. We got a lot of good Pentacle cards on this. Five of Cups was our card that came up twice, guys. It's what came up twice. So I really do feel, when those cards come in, we're really meant to look at that. We're really meant to look at that. So it's the thing about focusing on the negative. We don't want to focus on the negative unless we're going to work through it. We got to work through it. Things not turning out the way we anticipated. Forgiveness of self and others. Everything happens for a reason. Look for the hidden blessings, right? Thank you so much, Lori. Thank you so much, Hair Raisin, for your donations tonight. That's so kind, and it's very appreciated, guys. It really, really is. Yeah. Well, it's interesting, Marie, because even if you don't have planets in specific signs, we all have all signs represented in our charts. That's the really cool thing. We do. We all have all signs represented in our charts, even if we don't have planets in those signs. Like if this was a birth chart, right? You might say, well, I don't have any planets in Scorpio or Virgo. I don't have anything in Leo or Cancer. But when you look at the borders of each house, that's where those signs will be, right? So when you look at a chart and you say, well, say this is the Capricorn house in this chart right here, because we've got the Capricorn, right? So even if you don't have any, if you weren't born with any planets in Capricorn, when a planet is in Capricorn, it's going to move through that house of your chart. So it's very interesting how that works, that even if we don't personally have planets in those signs, when a planet in transit moves through those signs, it will hit that area of our chart. All of us have all the signs represented even if we don't have planets in those signs, right? But if we do have planets in those signs, it just creates more focus in those areas on a lifelong, you know, kind of energy wavelength. You know, that's what that does. Like if I have 4 planets in Capricorn, if I'm born with that, I got a lot of focus in Capricorn, right? There's a lot of focus there because I'm born with fixed planets in those signs at my birth. But say like for me, I don't have any planets in Cancer. I don't have any planets in Gemini. But if a planet moves through, it's in transit, right? Because as soon as we're born, those planets keep moving. And that's why we get different kinds of years, different kinds of days even, different kinds of months, different kinds of periods of life, because those planets are not static. As soon as we're born, that's like a snapshot. You know, our natal chart, our chart from birth is a snapshot of what we have when we are born, when we come into this earthly plane. That's that energy. Boom. Our first breath, or as close to the first breath, right? That's the energy that we breathe in, right? You know? And so, of course, right after that happens, those planets keep on moving. They keep on moving. The sun makes one full rotation through once a year, right? 365 days, the sun moves through all the signs. It's different for everything. The moon is 28 days through each, you know, cycle. It's all different for each one of them. So if you have a planet that moves through that sign, like if there's a planet in Gemini, you know, or Cancer, which I don't have planets in, but if it moves through those houses, it will highlight things about those houses for me, albeit temporarily, but sometimes those planets can be very long lasting. They can be very long lasting, right? Oh, thank you, Tasha. I appreciate that. Because, you know, some of those transits are very long. You know, Saturn lasts about 2.5 years in a sign. Jupiter lasts 1 year at a time through a sign. So, you know, we all have all 12. All of us have all 12 signs in our charts. It's just a matter of, do we have planets in all of those signs? No, we don't, because there's only 10 major planets. And of course, then we do have 5 asteroids, right? So usually, no, we don't have all of them represented at once. But in our wheels, we do have all 12 of those signs present. It's just a matter of, are we having a transit or maybe a progression going through that area that lights it up, right? We may say, well, I don't have a lot, you know, going on in like my 4th or my 5th house, right? So maybe there's not as much focus, you know, in those areas on a daily basis. But if you get a transit that temporarily lights up those houses, you could have quite a lot going on in those areas at that time. So that's kind of the way it works. There's a real timing thing to astrology. The Darkmoon Lilith is a different kind of point. It is what's considered, I know it's going to sound very Pink Floyd, but it's the dark side of the moon. That's also called the true moon's Lilith. And many times when you find where that is, I can't remember what mine is. It's not something I focus a lot on, but I have studied it in the past. It's interesting. There's definitely some good articles and things about it, and it is an interesting part of astrology, no doubt. You know, it's like all of the points of astrology have something for us. There's no doubt. And there's some people that focus on, you know, certain parts of a chart more than others. There's no wrong or right way. It's just what speaks to you more. Right? What speaks to you more. But yeah, the true moon's Lilith is like the dark side of the moon. It's sort of like that other side of ourself. It really points to the shadow side of our personality many times. Many times it's the more negative side of what we have to address, right? Like if you had a true moon's Lilith, like you said, in Sagittarius, I would say that the things that you really want to be careful of, you don't want to be too wandery in your life. You don't want to get so caught up in the chase that you never kind of settle down and just enjoy what's there at the present. Because Sagittarius can be very restless, can be very restless energy. It also would, I think, encourage you to really vet your teachers before you accept everything that they say, because Sagittarius, you know, on the positive can be, you know, that teacher student energy, but on the negative side it could, you know, lead to like false prophets and, you know, phony gurus and things like that that are really just trying to you know, aggrandize themselves and not really give you anything real in return. So that's what I would say about that. You know, there's different, and be careful where you travel, right? Be careful where you travel. Check your motivations of why you might want to go where you want to go. It's sort of getting into the dark side of the sign, right? And kind of watching those things, you know, just being a little bit advised. So that's what I would say about the true moon Lilith. It's interesting stuff. I mean, all of it is. All of it is. I'm never going to tell you not to study any part of astrology because, you know, it's different parts speak stronger to different people. And so it's really fun to get into all the different parts and the pieces. You know, for me, I love like the South and North Node. That's a really very fascinating thing to me. The part of fortune is really interesting. You know, the asteroids can be a lot of fun too. So yeah, there's always something, but like, you know, like tonight, when we're just focusing on, you know, Venus moving through Capricorn, that's what's interesting about astrology. Like you can just take one part of the whole and just focus in on it and talk at great length, which we already have. You know, you can talk at great length about just one part of astrology and get quite a lot out of it. You know, because basically all we've really been talking about tonight is Venus and Capricorn and having its, you know, motion last for 4 months and have a retrograde. And there's a lot to just that one part. And that's only one of the moving parts. That's only one of the moving parts that we have going on right now. That's why I said, you know, when we first looked at the chart, you know, what we've got. See, you know, that's why I said this is a very important Venus occultation because it's happening at the same time that we've just come out of this new moon in Scorpio. And that's why I feel, you know, that this is, and dealing with a lot of energy in Scorpio. So yes, I feel like this particular Venus transit ultimately is going to be very transformative and very beautiful. And it's starting during the sun being in Scorpio, and it's ending during the sun being in Pisces. So it's beginning and ending in a water sign, with a water solar sign. So I do feel like, you know, this particular transit of Venus is going to be very positive, but it's going to be very emotional. It's going to be emotional and logically foundational. It's like, it's really almost about like, for love or for security or both? How do we get both? Do we get security and romance at the same time? Can we have both of those? Because, you know, Capricorn is that, you know, security, stability, long-lasting foundations and patience, you know, but Venus, you know, the energy is love, it's romance, it's relationships, it's mushy, it's squishy. And those solar signs that we're beginning and ending in are water. And water is all about emotion, intuition, psychic, and spiritual connection. Glittery. Very glittery. Let's throw a few, let's throw just a few affirmation cards on this one for the end of our evening. Yes. It's a lot. It's a lot. For Sagittarians out there, we got a lot of people with Sagittarius energy, I think. You know, Sagittarians are our soul searchers, the soul seekers. That's why we get a lot of them in spiritual, you know, communities. But yeah, this is going to be a very foundational time for my Sagittarians because, you know, it's Capricorn energies. We moving through that Taurus house for you guys. Yeah. Let's get a few affirmations on this, a few love messages here. Let's pull 3. I'm going to do 3. 1, 2, 3. They look good. All right. There's the first one. And the keyword is trust. Oh my goodness. That's huge, right? Transformation occurs through acceptance. Did we not have that acceptance card coming in there? This is really about accepting people. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. All right, guys. Second card. Look at this. Oh, hey, thanks, Luna. I appreciate that. Secret admirer for some of y'all might be part of this. Someone has deeper feelings for you than they are letting on. And some of you, it might not be such a secret admirer, right? For some of you, you might know exactly who that is. And you're like, yeah, I know they have all sorts of feelings, but they're not putting it out there. They got all kinds of emotions, all kinds of passion, but they're not opening it up. Oh boy. Third card here. This is very emotional looking, very watery. The embrace, right? Through each other, you find the missing pieces. Wow, guys. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yep. This is a process. This is a process. Any specific signs sticking out? For Venus and Capricorn, gosh, for the card reading, there's huge Scorpio stuff, obviously. There's so much Scorpio going on. We've just come out of a lot of Libra, too. A lot of Libra, a lot of Sagittarius. So we've gone through those cycles. But yeah, I would say that, like, the big signs in the card reading, Aquarius was very highlighted. Scorpio highlighted. Virgo very highlighted. Aries, Leo had a lot of highlight. Taurus a little bit. Yeah, it's some real specific ones. And of course Capricorn, because it's Venus and Capricorn. But yeah, we got a lot of that kind of energy in here. Those are the ones that really came out the strongest. Some Libra too. Yeah. I think Virgos are actually going to have, I just get a sense that Virgos are going to have one of the better times with this transit. I do. Scorpio, it works real well for them. It's an intense position, but they don't mind intensity, right? That's the thing. You know, I did go, I'll try to timestamp them. I did just some real brief descriptions of what I think astrologically each of the 12 signs is going to experience with Venus and Capricorn. That's a 4-month transit. Because it's really, yeah, it's very good. It's a real foundation laying Venus transit. It's not light and fluffy. It's very much about determining and, you know, working on relationships or love connections that we feel have a future and a potential of a foundation and stability. And very potentially getting rid of relationships or ending associations where we don't feel that. If we don't feel like, you know, there's equal love, respect, yeah, that's really important. You know, mutual respect, mutual trust. Capricorns really hate being belittled. They really don't like it. They don't like being made fun of. That is a big thing. Capricorns really don't like that. Like we don't like putting out our wisdom or what we know and having it questioned or having it like having people punch holes in it. Oh, that's something. Like if you want to have a Capricorn like you, don't make fun of them. Don't put them down. Don't make them feel stupid. Don't embarrass them. They will never let that go. They will never get over it. They won't forgive you for it. They just won't. You know, that's the thing. You know, that's really important. Mutual trust and mutual respect of each other is huge in relationships during Venus and Capricorn. And it is. It's about what's going to be long lasting, what's going to stand the test of time, what's going to be good and work, right? You know, Capricorns, it's not just about love. It's got to be a good working relationship too. That's an interesting thing. But as a Capricorn, I do have a lot of respect for what I call good working relationships. I do. It's, you know, I always know when I've had a good working relationship with someone. And it's like, yeah, they're solid. There's someone you can count on. There's someone that you can trust. And that's going to go a long, long way. Yeah. Yep. Yep. You know, no matter what sign that you are, that's what's coming through with this transit. That's what's coming through with this transit. You know, Capricorn can be a tough sign. It has very high standards, very strong demands. Oh my goodness. You know, that's the thing. You know, Capricorns can be real judgmental. Oh yes, we can. We're kind of going, I'm looking at the way you treat me. I'm looking at the way you treat others. I may not say it, but I'm seeing it. And that's a Scorpio thing too. Scorpios do that too. They observe a lot. Virgos can be real discerning like that too. Virgos can be judgy, but they'll let you know. They won't keep it to themselves. That's why people are like, Virgos are so critical. I'm like, there's other signs that are just as critical. It's just that Virgos will really tell you. They're like, I saw that, I saw that, I saw that. Counting your mistakes wears me out. That's one of my old Virgo jokes. Counting your mistakes wears me out. Gwen is gonna appreciate that one. I got to have my job. Oh, I like that. Gwen says her sister says it's not judgmental if it's true. Yeah. She's tactful about it. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I've always struggled with that, y'all. Especially in love relationships. It's like, look, I'm not trying to make you feel stupid, but maybe you're just stupid. If somebody's being stupid, sometimes I will just tell them, you know, that wins me a lot of friends. But, you know, if somebody's really dumb, do you really want them around? I mean, if they're interested in getting better, then that's cool. But if they're not, then it's like, you're just like gonna be damage control for me to do, because I'm gonna have to clean up the mess all the time because you're gonna keep doing dumb things, and I'm gonna have to come clean it up, or feel like I have to clean it up even if I really don't. Yeah. Yeah. No, Capricorns won't suffer fools. That's a big thing about Capricorns. They don't suffer foolishness. We don't mind people that are just uneducated and they want to learn, right? That's a total thing. We're like, cool, you know, you want to learn, I'll help you. We'll learn together. We don't mind that. But if somebody's like dumb and they're proud of it, like they're cool with it, and we're just like, oh, no, we can't. Yeah. That just doesn't fly with the goat. We like solid stuff. We like calculated risks. Oh yeah. If a Capricorn blows up with you, you know you've gone too far, because we don't it takes a lot to kind of blow us up. It does. It takes a lot for us to really like, yeah. Because we'd rather not. We'd really rather not. That's for sure. We'd rather work it out in a practical, calm, professional way. We'd much rather do it that way. All right, guys. Well, this has been a fun night. I'm glad I jumped on for a little while. And that's right. That's right, Luna. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, goats don't play. They don't. And I hope people enjoyed this explanation of Venus and Capricorn. I hope it's going to be good. I really do. Right. Yeah. Well, it's okay. They can call me names if they want to. It's okay. I don't mind. They've got they're entitled just like I am, so. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Harry's, and thank you everyone who tuned in tonight. Thank you everyone who also sent sent donations this evening. It definitely helps because I'm doing less live streams now. So yeah, it's always super helpful to have that come in. I'm not sure what I'll be doing next. I'm not sure what my next thing will be. I may be posting some videos for full moon and just see what comes up. Just see what comes up next. Let me look in my the pocket planner. Let's see what we have. Yeah. Let's see what we've got in the month of November. I think that we're getting back into, yeah, okay, so tomorrow, or I guess actually technically it is tonight that daylight savings time ends. I think that we fall back. We gain an hour. That's good. I mean, yeah, the sun, like, isn't going to be out as much, but you know what? We get an extra hour. That's a good thing, right? So that ends at 2 a.m. tonight, so turn your clocks back 1 hour, guys. We are falling back. So let's see what's coming up next week astrologically. We're just traveling. We got the moon in Capricorn actually this weekend. Oh no, you got the cold, hair raisin? Oh baby. When I got it, I was like, yeah, I knew at some point I would probably get it because everybody's had it. Like, it has been like, it's a nasty cold too. It's taken, I'm still a little bit sniffly. Still coughing just a little tiny bit. It's a mean one. It's taken almost 2 weeks for me to completely get over the congestion from it. It's kind of a sticky one. Get your fish oil. Get your vinegar, lots of water, lots of tea, herbal tea. I did a Theraflu packet each night. That knocked me out good. I got good sleep. I will say that was the one nice thing about having a cold is I just got lots of sleep and I didn't feel a bit guilty for doing it. I was like, yeah. Yeah. That cold's been going around. So the next couple days, very nice. We got the Capricorn Moon. I think that's a good time. We've got, you know, the moon is waxing, and we're going to have the moon in Capricorn for the next couple days. So that's actually good for getting a lot of work done. Getting a lot of productivity. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm in Georgia. You should give me a call, Harry. But don't come over until you're well. I don't want to get the cold again. I've had it once. I don't want it again. Sunday the 14th, our asteroid Juno is moving into Capricorn. Juno is a major asteroid that has a lot to do with partnerships, marriage, the mother, the divine feminine. Wow. That's interesting that that's going to be in Capricorn on top of Venus and Capricorn. Boy, Capricorns are really getting it. Our full moon is going to be Friday the 19th, very early in the morning. And that is when our lunar eclipse season comes back. We are going back into eclipse season with our solar and lunar eclipses. So we're going to have a lunar eclipse in Taurus on Friday the 19th. That's going to be a big, powerful full moon. November 21st, which is a Sunday, that is when the sun enters Sagittarius. And that will be happening at 9:34 Eastern Time, 9:34 p.m., Sunday 21st, sun in Sagittarius. So then, let's see, we got the rest of this month. Mercury will go into Sagittarius on Wednesday the 24th. And wrapping up the end of the month, oh, yeah, December 1st. December 1st is Neptune goes direct. Neptune goes direct. My little Pisces come out of hibernation. And in that first week of December, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. We've got a solar eclipse in Sagittarius with the sun and the new moon. That's going to be a powerful weekend, guys. That first weekend of December. Woo! That's going to brighten our energy up. All that Sagittarius with a new moon solar eclipse. Woo-hoo. I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be nice. I think that's going to help us through some of the heaviness we're currently experiencing too. That's going to boost it up. And then, of course, Mars goes into Sagittarius as well on December 13th. There's a lot of good stuff right around the corner. That's going to help. That's going to help because we're going to be dealing with that Venus retrograde later that month. Wow, lots of action in December. I'll definitely work on doing some December forecasts for each of the signs, because it looks like it's going to be a lot of activity as we get into this end of the year. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, guys. I do feel very hibernate-y, though. If any of you were at my Samhain reading, you know, for Halloween, I canceled a Vegas trip. I totally hair-raising. With that Samhain energy, that Halloween reading, because that's like the next 6-7 weeks, right, until the winter solstice. It had that Hermit card all over it. It did. It had the Hermit. It had so much like just stay in, just chill out, don't worry, take it easy. Just take it easy, guys. Staying close to the hearth. Staying close to the home fires. No need to do a whole lot of moving back and forth right now. It's kind of like just hunker down. Do what's good for you. Take good care of yourself. Establish good routines, good healthful routines and habits. That's the best thing. Yeah, it's good for you, Harry's. And you know, it's funny enough. I always this always gets me as a reader. It always has, and I don't know what that is. I have always connected the two major arcana cards for Virgo and for Sagittarius. I think it's kind of interesting that we have both in here. We have a Virgo and we have a Saggy. Let me see if I can pick those cards out real quick. And it's the Temperance card. It's the Temperance card, and then it's also the Hermit card. There's so much in common in those two cards. And even though Sagittarius and Virgo are square to each other, right? Even though they technically have a lot that's very different about the two, I feel connections between them. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the Hermit. This is the Virgo power card, right? There's a little Virgo symbol there. And here's the Temperance card, which they call balance in this particular deck. But this is, the Sagittarius power card. So look at these two guys. I know this isn't the traditional tarot, but even if you look at the traditional deck, there's a lot in common about these to me. I feel like the Sagittarius energy here is really represented, in the Hermit. Because Sagittarius is also a sign of the wandering spiritual seeker. And the Hermit is a wandering spiritual seeker, right? Now, the Virgo side of this, of course, is that there's healing, there's habits, there's routines, there's that very big focus on healing the inner self, following your truth, following your star. But Sagittarius does that too. Sagittarius is a sign of truth. They're truthful to a fault, right? That's the big joke, is that Sagittarius doesn't sugarcoat anything. They stick their foot in their mouth all the time because they're too honest, right? But the Hermit is about that truth as well. So it really brings some of that energy in there. And then with the Temperance card, even though this is a Sagittarius power card, I'm feeling some Virgo in this. Because Temperance is about moderation. It's about balance. It's about, the earth and the water coming together. And it's that kind of angelic figure, which I always see as kind of the Virgo. It's Virgo comes across as that sort of angelic, figure. The person cloaked in the white, right? The angelic figure. And so, even though nobody has technically ever told me this or ever put that out there, from the time I really got into the tarot, I was like, there's a real similarity between the Sagittarius and the Virgo figures here, because both of them are truth seekers. Both of them are on a spiritual quest of truth. It's of some kind, and it's their personal truth. And many times they're very lonely doing that. Many times they're on their own doing that, right? Because the Hermit is the same. Sagittarius can be such a pioneer, right? And that means when you're a pioneer, you're kind of out there on your own for a while, because you go out there and you check it out, and then you bring it back to the other people to tell them about it. But you had to take that journey of loneliness first to get that information. But this is just fun chit chat for me. This is like just things that I've observed about these cards. And I just think it's funny because we've got a Virgo and a Sagittarius in the chat. And I'm saying, like, I've always felt a kinship between y'all's major arcana cards. And I do find it interesting as an astrologer as well, that there are signs that they always say don't get along or can't get along. But then there's, I've been lately getting back into my connections with Libras. And I've noticed that like I have 3 very long time, extremely good friends that are Libras. And Capricorns aren't supposed to, we're not supposed to get along with them that well, because, Libras are a square to our sign. And certainly I've known some Libras that really rub me the wrong way. But I've got these 3 that are just like, forever friends. I've known them forever. They're just wonderful. I love my Libras. And so even if a sign is a square to you, I would have to say, oh, Luna, if someone gets a read and all arcana are pulled, what does that mean? It means it's a very important reading. Or if it's mostly major arcanas, it's a very important reading. It has a lot of, because the arcanas are like those touchstones in our lives, right? They're the major themes in our lives. But yeah, so back to my thought, it's like, even if something is a square to your sign, give it a chance. They might be great for you. Because, the Libras that are in my lives, even though their sun signs square my sun sign, and certainly there's certain things about them that sometimes I just want to smack them a little because they can be indecisive, right? Capricorns are not indecisive. We always know what we want. Libras don't always know what they want. They're like, I got to weigh it. I got to balance it. We're just like, just make a choice. Just make a choice. Why don't you know? But one of my Libras has a Capricorn rising and a Taurus moon, so she's very earthy. So there you go. And then I have another Libra who's got a ton of Cancer in their chart. Like, they're very Cancer-y. So there's another, augmentation to that. And then the third Libra has a lot of Scorpio. So it's kind of interesting how, even though the sun signs don't get along technically, there's things in the rest of the chart that get along. And so that's why it's hard to simplify something down to just the sun sign. Like, people will always ask, well, what do I get along with best? And it's like, well, I don't know. You got to look at both of your charts. Oh, okay, hair raisin. Yeah, I'm setting up, I'm going to set up Cash App and Venmo, and I'm going to start making those links public, because that'll just give more, people more ways to pay and more ways to donate, because there's a lot of people that don't do YouTube or PayPal. It's funny, makes me feel a little old. I come from the time when it's like the only online option for payments was like PayPal. That was it. And now there's so many. Now there's so many more. And but yeah, I will be getting that. I'm also going to start there's that like coffee site, Buy Me a Coffee. It's Ko-fi, and it's a really easy, cute, quick way to donate, to a reader or an artist or somebody if you like what they're doing, and they don't take any percentages out of your payments either. And I think it's like, it literally is like the price of a cup of coffee. That's why they call it Buy Me a Coffee, right? So it's very cute. But I'm going to set that up too, because, just want people to have different options on how to use it. And also, it's something I can use too if I want to donate to someone I like. But I know some artists and I know some different readers who use different ones, and I'm just trying to
figure it out, guys, just to make it more user-friendly and all that good stuff. Yeah. All right, y'all. I had a fun time talking about astrology and tarot and all those good things with you. I'll be back soon. I'm sure, whenever I've got my energy feeling good again. Oh yeah, thank you, Mary. I really appreciate. I got your check. Mary's old school, so she sent me a check in the mail. Oh, that's the way I used to do everything. You know, it was mostly checks or PayPal. That's awesome. But thank you. Yeah, I'll be in touch soon. We'll do your reading. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, yeah. That's like, it's a nostalgic throwback. Because in the old days, you know, that's really the way I did all my readings, was really in person. I did more in-person readings than phone readings in the old days. And before the days of video chat, I did, you know, I did just telephone readings. Yeah, for people that were out of the country or out of state. So yeah. Yeah, definitely, Aries, and let's get together soon. And hope you feel better. Just take good care of yourself. Sleep it off as much as you can, and you'll get through it. But yeah, it's been a nasty cold. It's been gross, but it's also given me time to just rest, reflect, all that good stuff. Take good care of myself. That's sometimes I feel like, you know, when you get sick, it's like your body's way of just saying, slow down, take a breath, take some time for yourself. You need it. Like, it's a real, like, wake up call. All right, guys. So have a good night. Happy Venus in Capricorn. Happy new moon in Scorpio. And we will be talking soon, y'all. Take care for now. Bye-bye.